What the fuck is happening, dude? What's up? So, back in the day, I had a friend. Friend's name was Tyler. He was, as you say, a big boy. I mean, he was a big boy. No shame to bigger people. He was just a big boy. And this, take note, this will come into play later. The first time me and Tyler got drunk together. So, let me take you back a little bit. Me and Tyler had been friends for, let's say, well, now going on about 12 years. But we met in middle school. Tyler was always he was a real country guy. You know, he's a real big boy country guy. And we would always go to each other's houses. We would always have friends over, and we would go back and forth, right? So, it's around ninth grade. I'm like, 15, 16 years old. He had been drunk before, but I had never been drunk before. And this is coming from a guy that was in Mississippi, right? So, we had never been drunk before, and he has the bright idea, because he just got a car. It was like a shitty Ford car. I don't know what it was. It was like white or something. But he gets the car. The first notion he has is for him to come over to my house while my dad and stepmom are there, buy a 30 rack of Budweiser, mind you, and bring it back to my house. And I had a small house, no 2-story. It looked like a log cabin, dog. It was freaking crazy, dude. But he goes to the gas station, grabs the beer, comes back at like 12 o'clock p.m. We sneak it in somehow and bring it back to my room. And my room is right across a tiny hallway from my parents' room. So we hung out, we did the charade of, we put on the facade of going around, doing kid things or doing teenage things. We went out and threw the baseball, our anticipation was getting drunk that night. That's all we were thinking about. Like, we would look over each other and kind of nod like we were in some kind of like heist or something, like we were bank robbers or something. And we would turn to each other and nod. So night comes around like 7 p.m. It gets dark, and my dad is on call, right? So he has specific times that he's available for call for work, so he sleeps weird. So my stepmom goes to bed with him at like 6. So it comes 7, and lo and behold, we start popping them open. So I had never been drunk before. I had drinking beer. I liked it. It was in my bloodstream, or my bloodline rather. I'm from Mississippi, I got that honky tonk but donkey donk in me, dude. I got that donk trunk but donk funk donk. So we go in my closet. For some reason, we decide going in my closet. And my closet was no shit, like, I'd say 3 feet wide by like 6 feet. So we get in my closet, and he's big, dude. He's like 300 pounds, dog. He is a big boy. And we get in the closet, and he has his back to a wall. I have my back to a wall, and our knees are touching. And we have a 30 rack sitting on our knees like a pedestal, like the Ark of the fucking Covenant, dude. And our big brains just start cogging, and we just start drinking and drinking and drinking. And by the time I got 8 beers in, I had never been drunk before. I was done. I was blackout, belligerent drunk. So he has the bright idea to try to grab some cigarettes from his car. Now, mind you, he's like King Kong at this point, drunk. He is stumbling through the house. So I decide to tell him to come back, okay? So he comes back. He gets back in my room, and I look at him, and we're talking to each other like we had the brightest idea possible. So I had remembered that my dad had some cigars in the attic for some reason. I remember that because I always used to go in my we were really poor. I always used to go in my attic and grab movies that we had in like this big cardboard box. So I'd bring it down. We watch movies. So I go up in the attic, and the attic's really creaky, right? So it's like, and the attic's really creaky. It's made out of wood. It's like bending in on itself. And I walk up there, making all the noise. I grab the cigars. I grab one for me, one for him, so they won't notice that many have gone, but there are only like 4 in there. And I bring one to him. We both get it, and we're both blackout drunk. And I cannot believe I remember this. Well, I wouldn't say we're blackout drunk. I had never been drunk before, so this is my description of it at the time. So we both grab the cigars, and we start smoking it out my window. And for some reason, God had told my stepmother to use the restroom. My stepmother goes to the bathroom and comes by our door, and she can smell the cigar smoke. She knocks on my door, and I open it up, and dude, I know she can smell the beer. I knew she could, and I did not say anything. So I tell her, I stand at attention like a soldier and tell her, "No, ma'am, I have not been drunk. I would never drink. Drinking is for fools. Why would I ever drink? You were telling me that I would do something as far as drink. You are a preposterous woman. Get those fallacies out of my face." So she goes back to her room knowing that we had been drinking. And so we eventually, the rest of it is a blur. So apparently during the night, okay, let me backtrack here. I wake up, and there is a vomit on the side of this new mattress that my dad bought me. It looks like the Goosebumps, like slime and shit like that. And I look at it, and I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? So I start scrubbing it. I couldn't get it off, so I try to put sheets and shit over it, but it was like on the side of the bed, the bottom part that's like really hard, that you try to lay on one time when you didn't have the full mattress on, and then you hurt your back and stuff. So sometime during the night, me and Tyler had taken a garbage bag. Okay, we took my shoebox first. We took my shoebox of my new shoes. I had Nikes that were size 10.5, and we had put in some beer bottles in there, and then some in the garbage bag, and we tied the garbage bag in. And we had thrown it over my fence, and I had a pretty big yard. Like, I didn't live in the suburbs, I lived in the country, and we threw it over the fence, hoping no one would ever find it ever again. We did not know that garbage bags were not biodegradable, at least those garbage bags. Or bottles, or bottles. So my dad is walking around the yard doing dad things, trimming the bushes in it, and he finds the garbage bag. And this is like 2 days later. I just got back from school. My stepmom's there, my dad's there, and he has the bag in front of me. And he opens it up, and he says, "Do you know anything about this?" So we have neighbors that would throw things over their fence. Like, there'd be like some litter or something. It didn't happen all the time, but I could explain it away as that. Like, I would never drink. I'm a good kid. What am I thinking? I tell him it's not mine. I completely outright lied to him. I admit it was a bad decision. So I lied to him and tell him the beer bottles were not mine. He looks at me and he says, "Oh, okay." And he goes back behind the house and pulls out my shoebox, dude. And I could not deny this shit, my guy. I was wearing the same Nikes as what the shoebox said on the side. I couldn't deny that shit. I was full out caught. Like, what was I supposed to do? So I ended up getting a scolding and getting a beating. No, I'm just kidding. No, he scolded me and he told me you shouldn't do that behind his back, and I shouldn't do it until I'm older and what have you, whatever. But that is the story of my first time getting drunk, and it is a lot later in my life than I would have admitted. But, that's how it is. I appreciate you guys listening, watching. I stream live on Twitch, on twitch.tv/NovaBeans. Twitch.tv/NovaBeans. Twitch.tv/NovaBeans every single day around, let's say, 6 p.m. EST. You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate you guys listening. Have a great day.